All right, recording. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, everybody. This is Tyler and Pete's Nerd Games here. We're coming to you with a brand new game. This is going to be our second podcast or our second game called The Best. The Best is a game where you take a series of characters or items that are very similar, and then you have to give justifications of why that one particular character is the best. The kicker here is whichever one that you choose is the best, that forces the other player in this game to have to say why that character is the worst. And they have to be justifiable, and we can argue about it, and it'll be fun. Today's game is going to be done over the best live action Batmans. Batman, is that what? How do you say it? The plural of Batman. Does it say Batman?
I would assume Batman. It's Spider-Man is
Right.
Spider-Man. There was a whole comic series on that. So I would
Okay.
assume it's Batman. Although if you want to include Batgirl and Batwoman, then it would be Bat People.
Bat people. Okay. All right. I
Yes.
guess we'll do that. But either way, we are doing just the live action versions of these. These are going to include Adam West, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, and Ben Affleck. We have a couple honorable mentions. One of them is going to be Kevin Conroy, which I think actually is the best Batman. Not necessarily physically because he's a cartoon, but either way, he's done so much for this character in the video games and all the different shows. And then we also have Will Arnett, who is Lego Batman. Since they are animated, both of them, they do not count for this game today. Tyler, I think you said
Yeah.
two more.
Yeah, well, it was really hard not to include those two because they do such a good job. But I think we had to draw the line between live action and animated because there's so many people who probably have voiced Batman, even if it's been in one little tiny
Yeah.
thing, that then we'd really have to start narrowing it down and kicking people out. And so we just found a nice solid line here with the live action and went with that. There
Yeah.
are two live action Batman from the 40s. I don't know if you could include them as actual movies because they were more serials that they were in. But Lewis Wilson and Robert Lowry, we are not going to include them because I have not seen the things that they are in.
Yeah.
Because I was not alive in 1940s like Pete was.
Yeah. I mean, there's balding hair, I guess, says I'm pretty old, right? So yeah, so we're going to be taking on this game, and it's a pretty fun game to kind of just try to justify something. Just it's kind of like almost like a debate type thing, where you learn to try to do both sides of things. So I have a list of things on my other computer screen over here that of things why I would say one is the best and why I would say that they are the absolute worst. For instance, saying
Look
Christian
at you
Bale.
coming all prepared with
I
notes.
am. It's what you got.
Here
You
I
got
have a
notes.
few sticky notes that I've written a few things on, but I'm just
Yeah.
going to be
Well.
going from the old noggin here on
Yeah.
what I do. But
Some of
yeah,
my characters are not going to be as fleshed out with facts.
that's
So
all right. I like this game because you kind of do have to think on your feet.
yeah.
Because when you say that one character is the best, then
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rebuttal that and give a reason why they are the worst. And so some of my favorite, I might end up having to justify and say why they are the worst, even though I don't really believe that.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
then
going to
at
make me
home,
go against my belief.
and then what's cool is at home you guys can decide who wins the best or the worst in this one. So if I say Christian Bale is the best, but my I'm not as good at saying that, going through why he is the best, and you're good at saying why he is the worst, just kind of like a better argument for it, even though everyone might think he actually is the best. Then it's kind of like who had the best arguments just in general, not whether or not you just feel strongly about that.
Yeah. And you can decide between myself and Pete who wins, but you can also decide between the six Batman who wins.
Yeah.
Batmen, excuse me, or Bat people, because we are going to be arguing the best for each one of them. Just three of them will be argued by me and three of them will be argued by you.
Yep.
So maybe this will help you in your own personal rankings.
Right. And
where
also
you would place these.
When we finish this game, you put down in the comments below what you think is the best Batman, who you would argue for, and who you would argue for is the worst Batman as well. So kind of interact. I'd love to read the comments of what you guys think and why you think that. It's definitely interesting looking that up and kind of seeing things that are like, you know what? Yeah, I did have a problem with that now that I think about it. Or, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. That totally makes him a really good candidate for the best Batman, which hopefully we're going to try to do for all of them, actually. And maybe you'll learn a little bit of something, or maybe I'll change your mind, and maybe everyone will think that Val Kilmer is the best Batman.
Yeah, some of these are going to be really hard. Really hard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I think we should have like a dialogue back and forth as well. Not just once I say something is the worst and you want to add something to it. I think you should.
Before I give my worst, if I agree with your best, I'll let you know. I'll throw you a few compliments here and there.
All right. So
all right, let's get this on the road so we don't end up with a 2-hour video this time.
We're gonna start. I think I'll start this game since you started the last game. If I'm looking up like this, sorry, I'm trying to read off my other monitor here. So I'm gonna go with my best Batman. The reason, the person that I think is best is Christian Bale. He is definitely my favorite. I mean, just the trilogy in general was really good. But I have to decide why he is the best. So one, I thought his Bruce Wayne was actually incredible. Sometimes they leave out the Bruce Wayne aspect of the character, and they focus so much on just him being a Batman. But I thought his Bruce Wayne was actually pretty good. They completely fleshed out him as a character, and I thought that the part that I thought was interesting is Bruce Wayne in this one. Bruce was Batman and Batman was Bruce. They weren't necessarily separated as characters. Sometimes they'll have it to where Bruce Wayne is just some dude, and they want him to act a certain way, but he is Batman himself. I don't think there necessarily is a Bruce Wayne. He's kind of the whole package. Also, I think he has the best costume that's functional as heck. I mean, seriously, he's got actual real armor instead of whatever Adam West has, or even the weird putty stuff that the Michael Keaton one had. He can turn his head. I don't think any of the other Batman can turn their head. I guess Adam West could turn his head, so that gives him an advantage. His cape actually helps him glide. Like there's like real science behind why it can do that instead of just some poof, and it just changes into a new type of cape just for that shot and then goes back to the other type. It's electricity proof, shoots out electricity. You get to see how he even creates his costume in the first place. So it's so amazing. You get to actually see it really happen. And it's just actually just functional. As Batman, he's the most believable as a Batman, as somebody who could actually really exist in real life. When I look at the other Batmans, I do think of them as this like crazy, actual weird superhero that doesn't belong in our world. And this one, you get to see him like, you know what? He could really exist with all the stuff that he has. So it's grounded in reality. He is also the most fit out of all the other ones. Maybe not Ben Affleck, but I think he actually is pretty fit. Ben Affleck does those weird, like Rocky scene stuff, but I don't know if he's actually the fighting fit like I feel Christian Bale would be.
He's no Adam West.
Yeah. So I think he looks like he can actually do all the things that he does in the movies. I don't think the other guys could actually do the things that they do. Also, the movies feel like actual epic movies and not just a comic book. It's legit stuff. And The Dark Knight is one of my top 5, just in general movies of all time, because I thought it was just so well written. So that's why I thought Christian Bale was the best.
Yeah, there's not much room to disagree with you there. If he's not the best, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
I felt like he was the most intense of the Batman.
Okay.
And also the most realistic of the Batman. Yeah. Like you feel like his Batman could really exist in the real world.
Yeah.
And I think he is probably the best actor to have played Batman. Academy Award nomination wise and everything else. He's probably the best actor to have played Batman. So I definitely agree with you for the most part, but of course he is the worst Batman. And he is the worst Batman because of the Bat voice. I'm Batman. that bat voice, the bat voice that has inspired beer-gutted dads all over the world to make silly videos going, "Our Batman." He sounds like he needs a throat lozenge.
Yeah.
Like any villain should be able to defeat him just by taking out some menthol or Halls or something and popping it down his throat, and then maybe
Is
have
he
him
the
gargle
first?
some salt water or something.
Is he the first one that created the Batman? I feel like during my research, I found out that he was not the first one to do
Oh, but he took it to
the
the
voice.
extremes. Like, I mean, his bat voice. Seriously, it sounded like he just took a swig of gravel before he said it. I think he just made it a little too extreme. So
Okay.
Bale is
Okay.
clearly the worst Batman because he just has the worst bat voice.
Yeah. Okay. Is
See,
that it?
so
That's all you got?
boom, already I've won. We can probably just stop here because I made such a great argument of why Christian Bale is the flat out worst Batman over Val Kilmer and
Oh yeah,
George Clooney and everyone else who's ever played them. But
yeah. Okay.
no, all right, let's go on to the next one. The real best Batman. I
You
couldn't
didn't
believe
have
we
any more.
didn't
That was
start
all
with
you
this.
had. All right.
Yeah, that's well. See, I was under the impression as you rambled for 30 minutes there, that we were going to give one main reason
Oh,
why they were the
okay.
best or the worst.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
okay.
I was going. I mean, he deserves all of those reasons.
Yeah. I mean, for
Yeah.
these first couple ones,
Okay. Okay.
we're gonna have a lot of reasons why they're the best. Some of these we might just be able to come up with one
Okay. Okay.
main thing there.
All
So.
right. Sure. Sure.
All right, so I'm gonna go with one that's probably on a lot of people's best list. I'm gonna go with Michael Keaton.
Oh. Okay.
Michael Keaton kind of started it all. And Michael Keaton just oozed cool as he was Batman. Like there's just something about him in that role. And it's weird because in doing my research, I was reading about how people really were upset with the Michael Keaton pick
Yeah.
when they were first making this Batman. Because here's Mr. Mom coming
Right.
through,
Yeah,
somebody who's known
Beetlejuice.
more for comedic roles.
Yeah.
I don't know what would be equivalent to it right now. I know
Heath Ledger's
Ben Affleck got ridiculed a little bit when they
That's
picked
true.
him, but
Heath Ledger's
think about
Joker, and then who's the new guy going to play that we couldn't put on there because we haven't seen it yet?
Oh yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Forgot to give an
Pattinson.
honorable mention.
He got a lot of flack, and people are worried about that one too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, at the time he was kind of ridiculed for that choice, but he ended up kind of owning it, and a lot of people still picture Michael Keaton when they picture
That's true.
Batman.
Yeah.
They think of him, and I mean, he was such a popular choice to be Batman that people actually want him back, and there's rumors that he may be coming back
for
in a Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly, if he was good enough to, however many years it's been now, later, 30 years later, to come back and do that role again, then clearly he deserves the nod as the best Batman there. Yeah. And I mean, really his role as Batman, him and Burton combined, we'll give Burton some credit too, kind of reinvented Batman a little bit. Clearly in the 60s, there was so much camp with Batman, and that stuck with him for a while, and they took Batman into that more darkened path there that he's stayed in for quite a bit now. So I think they deserve a lot of credit for that too.
I think he has one of the best villains. Like both those movies, villains were on point. I think through superhero movies, probably some of the best villains of all time. Like just like the Danny DeVito, who played Catwoman?
Michelle
Pfeiffer. Yeah, she was amazing. Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I mean, I think all of those. I think villains do help make a movie or a show. If you have good villains to go against, to face off against, when it's written really well, which is why I don't think the George Clooney and Val Kilmer Batman really work. Is one of those things is because of the villains. So, and he is the one who did the Bat voice. He's the one that started the Bat voice.
Yeah, but he did it much better. And here's the thing with Michael Keaton. When he said, "I'm Batman," you believed it. You believed that he was Batman. And when you hear people say, "I'm Batman," unless you're making fun of it and go, "I'm Batman,"
yeah.
you're thinking of Michael Keaton in that role. So
yeah.
he definitely wins the bat voice off, I believe.
Well, I mean, as many good things as we have to say, I don't think he's actually the best Batman. I think he could possibly be the worst Batman of all time. To me, I don't think he nailed the Bruce Wayne character. I mean, I think he nailed Batman, but I did not feel him as Bruce Wayne. I did not feel him as, supposed to be, that character that he's supposed to play as the millionaire playboy. He did not do that at all. When you see those Tony Stark versus Bruce Wayne, things, and they're like, ooh, he's just some billionaire playboy who has a bunch of money and does a whole bunch of toys. You see they're like, oh no, Batman's there too, right? They're like the same person. But if you look at the Michael Keaton Batman, he doesn't do that at all. You don't look at him and go, oh yeah, he's the millionaire playboy. He's not. You know, he is Batman, but I don't think he's Bruce Wayne. You know, and also he's small. I mean, he's so small for this one.
Yeah, the
You know?
size I could see. I liked his Bruce Wayne. I think, like I said, he kind of oozed that coolness. He had that little smirk on his face. He looked like he could be unhinged at any minute, kind of thing there, which I kind of like that in my
But
Bruce
that's
Wayne a little bit.
yeah. I don't think that's not how Bruce Wayne is. I don't think in the comics or any of the other movies. You know,
But think
I
of
think he played it
who
so different.
Batman really is. He is a guy who probably could become unhinged at any moment, and the fact that
Yeah,
he walks that line
yeah,
is what makes him a good
but
character.
he has to play that, like,
Yeah.
like him at the, like doing
And
business
that's why it
deals.
takes such a good actor to be able
Yeah,
to show that he could be that, but that he's also pretending to be
yeah.
this other person too. So
And he's the worst because he did not nail that. I think I won that round. Let's go for the next
I don't
best.
think you
I
did
I
at
I
all.
I won that one. All right. So
Because I am
let's
sure even if he might not have done that as well as Christian Bale, he did it a whole lot better than some of these other actors we're going to talk about.
let's agree to disagree. I mean, to be honest, the next on my list, the next one, this one's actually the best one. That's Adam West. I do think, Adam West did a much better Bruce Wayne than Michael Keaton did. I mean, let's just face it. Also, I think this one, I mean, to be honest, Adam West is probably the strongest out of all the other Batmans because mentally, physically, everything, because he faced off against like pretty much the entire Rogues Gallery all at the same time, pretty much in every single movie he had. No other Batman has faced off against so many bad guys who have banded together. What? Some of them have two or three bad guys at a time. He literally had just almost all of them. He had Joker, Catwoman, Riddler, Penguin. Who else? I feel like there's like a fifth one in there. Was that wrong? Was there only four? I don't know. He has so many at one time that no other Batman has done that. That some of them like what is like Poison Ivy and then like Mr. Freeze, two at a time. Catwoman, Penguin, two. He faces off all against all of them. His tool belt literally has everything ex machina style. I mean, seriously, shark repellent bat spray. I mean, what doesn't he have in his utility belt? It's gonna happen. If there's a scenario for it, he's gonna spray it. I'm just gonna say. Um, he's had extra sounds in all of his. I mean, how exciting is it when you see a fight scene and he goes, "Whoo," and then a PAL sign shows up? Comic accurate. Has any of the other ones been that comic accurate? I don't think so. And I think his stuff is the craziest. Who else has ran around with a bomb around over their head, just running around going and then like throwing it in the water? I mean, what the Christian Bale one? He faked that. He didn't even do it himself. He faked it. Spoilers at the end. He fakes it. He doesn't die. And then he also had one where he turned people into powder and then rehydrated them. Science. Mic drop.
Yeah. Now, I think I've already won this one because I
You
feel
can't
like
beat
you've gone
that.
outside the rules and included the television show instead of just the 66 movie. But I'll go ahead and
Oh,
forgive that.
in the movie, he does all those things. He
All
does
that was
the
from the
bat
movie.
bomb. He does the bat bomb in the movie, doesn't he?
Okay. All right.
And the powder's definitely the movie. And he faces
Okay.
off against the shark in the movie. Yeah, all this stuff is from the movie.
And all the villains were in the movie. Okay.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
I'll give it to you.
I mean, if I'm wrong, put
I
it in the comments and tell me absolutely how wrong I was.
I only say that because I have been watching some of the TV show because, if I would have got this one for the best, the reason he is the best would have been, because my son is currently obsessed with that version of Batman right now. That's the
Yeah.
only Batman he's allowed to watch, because he doesn't watch animated and he can't handle the other ones. And so
Yeah.
he goes around, he calls Batman Nana because of the song Nana Nana
No, no,
Nana
no, no,
Nana
no, no, no,
Batman.
no, no,
So,
no, no, Batman. That's a
so
good song. And
my
it has
son
like the
would
best song
definitely
too.
agree with you
Thank you.
that he is the best, but clearly he's got to be the worst because of all, if you took all of the Batman actors and you just took them out into the alleyway behind the studio and you let them duke it out and fist fight,
Oh, he would
Adam
win.
West would get his butt kicked.
Oh, whatever.
He would get his butt kicked. He is just not up to the shape of what we have now grown accustomed to know
He
what
didn't have some
Batman
Rocky
can
training
be.
scene.
Yeah, the 1950s training scene is not anywhere near anything that we currently have in our and you talk about his utility belt. Have you seen his utility belt? Let's see what that's made out of. It's like some yellow plasticky leather stuff, and there's just little tiny pellets in
But
there
it's
that are
all, I
probably
mean,
Flintstones chewable vitamins.
he finds his stuff anyways. It's there. You just can't see it.
Plus, here's the thing that I never got from watching that show. Alfred answers the phone when the police commissioner calls and it's like, oh, I'll get Batman. Here he is, in his normal Alfred voice. And then when they go to talk to Bruce Wayne and Alfred answers the door in his normal Alfred voice, and nobody put that together. Like, so he's got no care for secret identities. He's definitely the campiest of all the Batman.
He's campy
by far. And I mean, part of that gives him fun and charm, but you can only take that so far. Yeah. And he definitely would get his butt kicked by all the other Batmen. Like even Affleck could kick his butt. So
even Affleck. I feel like Affleck is the second strongest. even I'm just that should just be in the comments. Even Affleck. There you go.
All right.
Oh God, that's terrible. All right. So then, if you think Adam West was the worst, then who do you think is the best? Then.
All right, I'm gonna shock America right now.
Is all of America even watching this?
I'm gonna shock all of America. I'm gonna tell you right now why George Clooney is the best Batman.
Oh, what?
I'm taking Clooney off the table. George Clooney is the best Batman, and here's the reason why. He is the only Batman to win the sexiest man alive, not once, but twice. So therefore, George Clooney is the sexiest Batman.
Okay.
He has the best bat jaw of all of the Batman.
Bat jaw?
He has the best bat jaw. Like when you picture Batman, when you see him in the comics, he's got that chiseled jaw. And Clooney has the best bat jaw. He is the sexiest man alive, not once, but twice. Only Affleck comes close because he got it once. And he's got the butt chin jaw, which is not as good as the Clooney jaw.
It's not as sexy.
But Clooney wins because he is by far the sexiest Batman. He even had the bat nipples on there. So I mean, dude, sorry to take that PG-13, but Clooney definitely the sexiest Batman, and therefore, because sex sells, he is the best.
I would say out of all of them, on my why I thought George Clooney was the best is he legit looked like a billionaire playboy. Yeah. I mean, he actually did that role. I mean, when he goes, I've got the Bat credit card, boom. I mean, he was the billionaire playboy as Batman. That's how billionaire playboy he was. So I'm going to agree with you on that one. I'll agree with you on that one. But I mean, just because he's the sexiest man alive does not mean that he's the best. I mean, he is sexist. I'll agree with that, but he is not the best. Like you said, bat nipples. Why would you even include bat nipples in there? I don't know why that would be the best. I mean, that would be a dead.
Well, I mean, he was going against Mr. Freeze.
Like, oh, that's way too sexy, and then he's like, oh, that's Bruce Wayne. Oh, I get it now, right? It's a dead giveaway. He had so many characters that didn't work. Like when they completely ruined Bane. Like seriously, like Bane is a mastermind strategist, you know, who is not created. Like right now I'm reading through Batman Nightfall, the actual the book of the novelization of the comic book, And Bane is so smart. And then you get into this, and he's like, I'm Bane. Like he's like Groot at this point, only less intelligent. Um, and and honestly, I think he was a goofier Batman than Adam West Batman. Like I know there was the cheese in there, but he was so cheesy. That was the cheesiest movie of all time. Like it was worse. Like the scenes with Adam West with Selena Kyle when she wasn't Catwoman, like those scenes, I believe their chemistry. Like this was the worst chemistry, regardless of how sexy he is. He has the worst on-screen chemistry with Robin and with Poison Ivy. It was awful. And his fake girlfriend supermodel when he was Bruce Wayne. Like I didn't believe it at all.
All right, I might have to agree with you on those points. He's one that's hard to argue for why he might be the best, because that movie is so, I
Yeah.
mean, that movie is clearly right now the worst Batman movie and maybe one of the worst superhero movies of all time.
Yeah.
But 2 times sexiest man alive. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean,
No other Batman can say that. Not even Christian Bale.
no, dude, I agree with it, man. I don't know. I've got a little bit of a man crush on him myself, but not for Batman, not as Batman. He did do some of the craziest stunts. If you look at, he was air surfing and ice skating. What other Batman out there can say that they ice skated and air surfed?
Yeah. Here's the question with Clooney. You have to give him a little credit because he was in the worst Batman movie of all time. So would he have been better in a better movie? Would he have made a better Batman?
Oh,
Especially what we know of him now as an actor. He's been in some good things.
no, he's an amazing
Would he have
actor.
done a better job?
I don't know. He consistently says he regrets doing that movie. I mean, I don't know. He's too suave. I don't think he could play a hard, tough guy, like at all. Like in the Ocean's movie, he's amazing, but he's always suave. I don't think Batman can be suave. I think he's got to be hardened, like which is why I can
Well,
now
but your
go
argument for Keaton was that he wasn't Bruce Wayne enough, so he clearly could be Bruce
during
Wayne.
during the Bruce Wayne scenes. Yeah, I think he could totally. I think he could pull off a Bruce Wayne, but I don't think he could pull off a Batman. Like I think Christian Bale pulled off Bruce Wayne and Batman at the same time, but I don't think these other guys have nailed it. I even think that Adam West pulled off a Bruce Wayne and a Batman at the same time. I think he did both of those. Now, his version of Batman called for him to be a little silly.
Yeah.
Um,
In
so
that world, he
in that
was
world,
that world's Bruce
yeah,
Wayne and Batman. But
yeah, I think so. I think he
imagine
pulled
that Batman sitting,
off.
that Adam West Batman sitting with some of the superheroes in the movies now. Like he would just stick out like a sore thumb. He
He would.
wouldn't make it very far.
Man, I think they should bring him back for Flashpoint. Like, how awesome would that be? I mean, that'd be like one of those like multiverse of Spider-Man, though, where you can actually legit bring in the campy versions of everybody, like with the Peter Porker and stuff like that, Spider Pig. But I think you have to create that type of world.
Well, unfortunately, unless they bring back a zombie version of him, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. All right. So here's who I think then. Since you did not take this one, and I don't want to be stuck with Val Kilmer because I got nothing on that one. I had stuff for George Clooney, but I did not have stuff for Val Kilmer. So I'm just gonna take Ben Affleck. Why he's the best. Ben Affleck. To be honest, I think he's one of the biggest Batman as far as being in shape goes. Like he's bulky. Like he could beat up the biggest bad guy. Like if you saw Bane show up, I feel like he would be the size to actually take on a Bane as Batman. Kind of like what is that one guy? Is it Steve Miller? Is he the one who did 300? Is that the guy who did the Dark Knight?
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller. Frank Miller. Man, I'm gonna get ripped for that.
Steve
one.
Miller is like the Steve Miller band.
Oh, one of our viewers on this one is going to be like, he's stupid. I X out of this one. Different podcast.
I win then. All right.
Frank Miller. He looks a lot like the Frank Miller Batman for this one, for the Batman v Superman comic. So I do think he is that. But I do think some of that is his costume. His suit definitely bulks him up a little bit more than he should be, to kind of look like Henry Cavill does in real life. I do think he mixes the new suit features with the classic colors of the comics. I really appreciated that, where they went back to the old ones instead of doing the Michael Keaton jet black like all the other ones did. Um, he actually does crossovers with other superheroes. Like none of the other the Batman actually did anything with other superheroes. Like he's actually in there with Wonder Woman, and he's in there with Superman and Cyborg and Flash, and we haven't really seen that. Everyone does their own one-off, and he actually has other superheroes in that, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that we finally get to see that. I don't think it was done right in the slightest, but the fact is that we finally got to see that at least.
Yeah, he's
Um,
the first time we get to see a Batman as part of a bigger superhero world.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree. That was one of my points that I would have made if I had him.
Yeah. And I also think that I really like the no holds bar fighting scenes. Like, and if you look at the fighting scenes, I think he's got some of the coolest fighting scenes out of all the other ones. Even though, as much as I appreciate the pow and bam, I mean, seriously, he has the coolest fight scenes. Like, that's legit Batman right there, when you see him fight. And then the other ones too. I don't really think I saw this as much, but the argument for why Batman is the greatest superhero of all time is with prep, Batman beats everybody, right? I mean, that's the argument. Is it doesn't matter who you throw out there with prep, Batman beats everybody. Without prep, they could totally take him, but with prep, they can't. And this one, Batman v Superman, like they show him prepping. You know, he does all those little things that he sets up to take on Superman, and that's the type of Batman that we just haven't really seen in live action movies. Is him doing that type of prep, and I really appreciated that nod to the Batman in the comics as an actual detective and just overall smartest guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was prepared to tell you some reasons why I thought Ben Affleck was one of the best Batman. I feel like even though I feel like Bale and Keaton are above him,
Yeah,
he definitely could be in that conversation at least. I didn't take him because I don't want you to steal Clooney, since I had such a great
gotcha.
argument for Clooney and clearly won that one.
I mean,
Because
you did.
I knew you were going to pick Clooney over Kilmer.
I'm still thinking about Clooney in my mind. I can't get him out of my
Sure you
brain of how
are.
gorgeous he is. That was
I
really
painted
hard to do
such
the
a
Ben
picture.
Affleck one.
I mean, now if we were arguing like a list of the best sexy superheroes, maybe Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds could be in there, but a Batman.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, we can't include that
But
because,
you know, you argued some really good things about Ben Affleck, but here's the thing. He's part of this whole superhero world, which we give him some credit for that. But he is the only one of these Batman that we are talking about right now that did not have his own Batman movie.
oh, I
And so
forgot about that. I didn't even think
there, by that argument alone, he is the worst of these Batman.
he's not even good enough to
He
have.
did not make it far enough to get in his own movie. He had to share with Superman and Justice League in his appearances. And
Oh
so,
man, and he's gotten it stolen from, like, Robert Pattinson is stealing the standalone movie from him.
yeah, I mean, he was slated to have one. And
That's true.
because of that Justice League movie and it not being good enough, he was stolen that chance. And maybe if he would have done a better job, maybe if he would have been a better Batman, we have a whole new thing going on here, where that universe would still be continuing. So not only did he not get his own standalone movie, but the universe that he kind of set up and created is crumbling, and they're going on to other movies and trying to forget about this universe. So I really think that that is kind of to his detriment.
Do you think he would have been better if he had better writing? Like, do you think he could have handled it? I mean, he had so many times where he was super serious and then he was silly and then super serious and then silly. Like, I didn't know which one he was going to be because he was the extreme on both ends, you know? Like if they had better writers, like the whole Martha, like what'd you say? Like seriously, that is the worst writing.
Yeah, but you don't know how much of it's writing and how much of it's Affleck, because he's done some of that in some of his other roles too. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if he had different material, what it would have been like. But I was one of those people when Affleck was announced, I didn't really I wasn't super thrilled about the announcement of him from what I knew about him already. He definitely nailed it more than he nailed Daredevil. We'll give him that. If we were arguing right now for the best Daredevil, even though there's only two, he would not be my choice. So
yeah, that's true.
now, if it's live action movie Daredevils, I guess he's the only one. So I still probably would argue.
That's true. Dude, I mean, there's one thing I want to say about why he's the worst.
Okay,
Unless you think you got it. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I mean, I think I pretty much summed it up that he couldn't even get his own movie and hold his own movie and keep that going. And also, let's just say, a lot of people talked about, you even mentioned earlier how in shape he was, but to me, with all that bulky stuff, he looked like the fat Batman. So
yeah, that suit did not do him justice. I want to say this: if who did I say was the best detective? See, now I don't even remember now.
Was it Adam West?
No.
I'm still waiting for that detective aspect of Batman to be hit a little bit more in movies.
Yeah.
He had some of it in his.
He was the worst detective. I think he was the absolute worst detective. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, they tried to put it in there. They tried to give him some elements of that, but I don't think it succeeded, which is why you're bringing up.
I mean, his was, if there's just a 1% chance that we have to take this as absolute certainty. Like, what? As a detective, you're going off a 1% chance? Like, nobody does that. That is he is the stupidest Batman with that 1% chance thing.
And I wonder if it was Bale on the detective, because I do remember that scene of him reconstructing the bullets.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
But that's the thing. Detective. It seems like really in all of these, they just try to, oh wait, Batman's supposed to be a detective. Let's put a scene in there that makes him seem like he's a detective.
Yeah.
So hopefully with Pattinson, they are able to get that through the whole movie and give us that aspect of it. But since it's a younger version of Batman, I'm not sure if they're gonna be there yet or not.
No, man, I just think regardless, if as an actor, how he did in that one, I think his writing just screwed him over. I think that was there's so many plot holes and just ridiculousness in there as to the motives behind anybody. I mean, I'm just like, Adam West had way more motives, and that was the campiest stuff I've ever seen. I mean, even the Val Kilmer one had more motives, and George. I mean, they just all, at least within their own world, were believable as to why they were doing something. And his
that's the thing with these. How much do you blame the actor and how much do you blame the movie?
Yeah.
Kind of with the George Clooney argument, would he have been better in something else?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to tell because he was in one of the worst Batman movies
of all
so far. So
yeah, it's probably, man, dude, what's sad is I watched Batman and Robin as a kid. I don't know, I wouldn't say 100 times, but as a hyperbole, I watched that movie 100 times. Like it was just like, I thought it was so cool as a kid, and I try to watch it now and I'm just like, this is the dumbest thing, which
it was a big deal when it came out too. I remember watching the red carpet premiere of Batman and Robin on TV as all the celebrities are coming to see it. And then it just kind of died because it ended up being such a terrible, ghastly movie.
Yeah, man. Dude, I still loved it and watched it. I had the Batman toys. Like when I saw Robin for the first time, and this one with all of his new suit and everything, I was like, this is amazing. And then like Batgirl came in and you're like, what, there's a Batgirl, and like Arnold's lines were so terrible. But as a kid, you're like, these lines are great. So I don't know.
Yeah. And that's part of when we're doing these kind of lists and rankings, you have to think about that filter that you have of when you saw it and the nostalgia for it. I mean, that's probably why Michael Keaton is one of my favorites and one of the best, because he's the first Batman that I knew and learned about and grew up with. Besides obviously the Kevin Conroy Batman, which
we can't use though.
We can't use, but that's why he, I hear his voice in my head when I'm hearing Batman, because
100%
with his voice there.
Oh, dude, I hope he's in Flashpoint too. Like, I wonder if they're gonna have a choice between those two, because I heard
Well,
that
they used him in the Arrowverse, and I
right.
don't think that appearance went over well. So
Oh,
we'll
he
see.
would
Maybe he
be.
gets another chance.
That's right. I think he's going to be the Batman Beyond. If they did it, I would want him to be the Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne, and then Michael Keaton could be the Batman who is Thomas Wayne, who's actually Batman, and his son and wife died on that one. That would be pretty cool. I would love him to see that. All right. So
All right.
let's end this one with our last
I think
one.
we got one more. So
So
I believe I'm up. You've
you're up on that
purposely
one?
avoided this one.
No, are you? Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
there's only one left, right?
Yeah, you're up.
And you did Affleck, so it's all me. I got Val Kilmer here,
Ooh.
and we saved the best for last. I'm going to tell you
That's true.
why
That's
Val
true.
Kilmer is the best Batman. I'm not stalling at all to try and think of reasons of why he is the best Batman. I clearly have a million reasons why, and I'm not trying to think of anything. No, okay. Seriously, I do have some reasons why he's the best Batman. So here, you started with Christian Bale, right?
Yeah.
Christian Bale played Batman, but he's gone on. He's been in Academy Award winning pictures. He's still getting all kinds of roles there. You got Michael Keaton, kind of making a resurgence and a comeback. He was in Spider-Man as one of
I'm happy for him.
scariest car rides I've ever seen filmed on television or movies, whatever we're talking about. I don't know. It's late.
We stream everything.
You've got Adam West, who, I mean, he did his stuff in the 60s and up until the time of his death was still known as Batman, still making appearances. He was in Family Guy as the mayor, for Pete's sake.
He was Batman, yeah.
Ben Affleck is still doing Ben Affleck stuff. George Clooney, still being George Clooney with sexy supermodels and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, well,
Val Kilmer,
an activist now,
made Batman the peak of his career. Like, boom, Batman is what I'm investing all of my career in. After this, I am gone and out of here.
Yeah.
Batman was his thing. Like, that was the biggest point. Yeah, he had good things that he was known for with Top Gun and all that before, but Batman was kind of the peak of it. He got to play Batman, and then he had the chance. He maybe could have come back, but boom, nope, I'm out, one and done. Mic drop like a baller, and so I'm giving Kilmer the best Batman because he gave it his all and he put it in as his one Batman appearance and the peak of his career, the pinnacle of his career as Batman. And also, I will tell you this, as I was reading and doing my research, Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, had said that Val Kilmer was his favorite Batman. So if the creator of Batman picks you as his favorite, I have no idea. I did not check the sources on that. I'm just going with it because this is all I got for Val Kilmer. Come on now.
Okay.
Don't bring me down, Bruce. All right. So that's where I'm going with this. Val Kilmer, the best Batman, because he got the Bob Kane seal of approval. It was the pinnacle of his Batman career. And you know what? He didn't mess it up.
He didn't.
He didn't pull a Clooney. He didn't pull an Affleck. He's the safe bet. He's the Batman you take home to mom and be like, Mom, I know this isn't necessarily the Batman you wanted me to end up with, but I could have done a lot worse. And Mom's like, okay, go ahead, make this your Batman. So that is why he's the best Batman, because he's not the worst, even though you're about to tell me why he is.
Dude, okay, so here's the thing about Val Kilmer. Like, I had stuff for George Clooney. Like, I at least had a few things for him, like, legit. I had stuff for Adam West as why he's the best, and like I really do think there are qualities about him that make him at least a competitor. There's as much as I didn't like Batfleck, I have good things to say about him. He wasn't all bad at all. I think a lot of his was terrible writing, but for Val Kilmer, I really didn't have anything for him or against him. Like I was just like racking my brain. I'm like, why is he the best? I'm like, I don't know. Why is he the worst? I don't know. I think he is the least memorable Batman there is. Like seriously. Like Jim
Carrey. I wrote those exact words right here.
he's just so not memorable. Like when you were saying like he's your safe bet to bring Batman home. Like I'm just like, yeah, there's nothing good or bad about him. he just was so flat on everything. He was a flat Batman. He's a flat Bruce Wayne. He's just like this the whole time, no matter who he is. I'm just like, he's worse. I mean, he did kick off the cheesy. I think he was the most cheesiest. As much as Batman and Robin were so cheesy, like he had like he they made Tommy Lee Jones one of the worst. That was like one of his worst roles I've ever seen him in, and he is an amazing actor. And I'm like, what happened there? Same thing, Jim Carrey.
Well, you
Like, I
can't
mean,
blame Val Kilmer for that.
you can't blame Val Kilmer for that, but like their roles were so crazy that I don't even remember what he did. Like Batman
Mhm.
didn't like if
Yeah, at
Batman wasn't
least you
even
remember
right.
Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey, even though they probably gave over
Yeah,
the top performances, you at least remember them. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll give you that.
I'm like, if Val, like, I think they could do that entire movie without Val Kilmer. Like, you could just put anybody in there. Like, you could be
Just a
Batman in
cardboard
that movie,
cutout of Michael
right?
Keaton.
Right.
Like,
And then
if
the
Michael
movie,
Keaton couldn't come back, they could. And that's the problem that Val Kilmer had, was he had to follow Michael Keaton, and so yeah.
he could have made it his own, and he didn't. I'm like, you're freaking
Well,
Maverick, man. You're
and I wonder
Maverick.
how much of them, how much they wanted him to try to emulate Michael Keaton. Did he get pulled from the producers and the directors of, hey, we need you to do what Michael Keaton did, or did they give him freedom to do his own thing? Because if they did, he clearly didn't.
I mean, unless that's his thing. I don't know. I like, did he not prep for that at all? Or did he not like, I mean, it's just I just don't understand why, besides the campiness of all the other things and how much I hated Jim Carrey as a Riddler and I hated Tommy Lee Jones, as much as I loved them as actors, they were awful in this movie, you know. And then with like a really dry performance by Val Kilmer, I'm like, I actually read the book Batman Forever, like the kid novelization of it for for like, when I was like in fourth grade or something like that. And my imagination of what that movie was better than the actor's performances in that. So I think he just was the worst performance of all of those of the Batman, you know? Like, I mean, seriously, Ben Affleck, Martha, like, I thought he acted that well, but it's just the dumbest line ever. And I'm like, I feel like Val Kilmer got, I don't care what lines he got, he didn't deliver them. Like you said,
Yeah.
you could cardboard. Who's that one Batman from like College Humor or something like that? It's like Pete something. Have you seen those ones? The College Humor Batmans. Like, I would love to see
Some of
him
it, yeah.
in Batman Forever. I think he would totally fit in with how ridiculous that movie was.
Yeah, the Schumacher Batman movies, like, they're so campy, you might as well. I mean, at least Clooney kind of embraced the campiness a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
So
I agree
yeah,
with that.
I wonder if they would have had like a comedic actor or something, maybe it would have come across a little bit better. It's hard to tell, but yeah, Val Kilmer maybe didn't make the best of his time as Batman, but I would still not say that he was the worst. Although the one that I would say is the worst, I just argued for the best. So I'm kind of out of it either way here.
Do you think George Clooney is
How,
the worst? If you were to actually say who's your real worst and who's your real best, what would you pick?
I think George Clooney would be my worst because
Really?
he's not who I would picture as Batman. Like, I would not picture
Okay.
this guy as Batman. I would not pick him out of a lineup of actors to be Batman or portray Batman.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits what I envision Batman to
Yeah.
be, or what he
I
potentially could be.
I feel like Val Kilmer could have done an okay Bruce Wayne. I think George Clooney, even though he does play the millionaire playboy, I don't think he has that dark side to him. As is, it's like that wasn't a show. I feel like Bruce Wayne, millionaire playboy, was Batman, not that his true identity was Batman, and that his Bruce Wayne persona was fake. I felt like he was Bruce Wayne and his Batman persona was fake with George Clooney. I feel like I feel like Val Kilmer could have he did a better job of making it to where he was still that brooding on the inside, and when he was Bruce Wayne, even though it was is not as memorable as it could have been, at least was more Batman than than Bruce Wayne was supposed to be.
I will say that I think Val Kilmer is probably the worst actor to portray Batman of these six
Okay, or just
actors.
in general.
Yeah, just I'm about to say he didn't have as much range in a list that included Adam West, who pretty much is just Adam West all the time.
Literally,
but yeah, Kilmer doesn't have a whole lot of range. I mean, there's only so much that he can do, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think he was not. I mean, I would say Adam West has the least range, but yeah, Val Kilmer is just kind of, he's just like a one character, one trick pony in that regards. I mean, I love him in his stuff, like whatever he's played in besides Batman.
Like, think of these actors that we have. Like, I could easily see a flip where Christian Bale or Michael Keaton, possibly even Ben Affleck, could play a villain in a Batman movie or some other character, and they be believable as that character.
Yeah.
And if Val Kilmer flipped over or George Clooney flipped over and played another character, they would still seem like Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Like,
yeah,
they give probably the same kind of performance, the same level of performance.
Yeah. I think George Clooney's Ocean's 11 was a better Batman than his Batman.
Yeah, I think that's a good argument there.
No. So who would be your best?
I'm gonna go Keaton still. I'm gonna still go Keaton as the best. And proof of that, I still have my Michael Keaton bank that I got from the Batman cereal. You know what I'm talking about. You two people that are watching this, one of them is probably me. So yeah, I think Keaton is still memorable. People still crave for him to be back in the Batman role.
That's true.
People liked Christian Bale and his movies, but maybe some of that was Christopher Nolan, and
that was.
I don't hear as many people calling for Christian Bale to come back. They feel like, okay, he did his 3, he's done, he's good.
I don't think he wants.
We'll end it at that.
Yeah, I think Christian Bale wants to end it as that. I could definitely see wanting Michael Keaton to come back because he is a little bit of the comic book in there. I don't think Christian Bale's Batman was a comic book Batman, and I think his story is done too. If you watch the first 2 Michael Keaton Batman movies, his story's not done. When you watch the Christian Bale movies, his story is completed. Like you can't imagine him coming back because there's no room for him in his story to come back.
You could see the Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne coming back in like a Batman Beyond kind of situation where he's older and mentoring. Where I definitely want to see Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne doing that.
No, I can't see really any of them coming back. I can't see the Adam West one coming back. I can't see the Val Kilmer one coming back. I don't see the Clooney one coming back. I could see the Ben Affleck one coming back. But that's just so that they can make a decent version of his Batman because they ruined it.
Yeah. So if they brought Affleck back for another movie, do you think he could, if he had a Batman solo movie, could he pull it off? Could he up his ranking in the list of the best Batman?
So I think they could. I mean, it's kind of like I think it's how I feel about him is definitely how I feel about Thor. Like the first Thor, the first one was very flat, and I was just like, I mean, it was cool, and I've gone back to watch it again, and I like it better each time I watch it, but it's still, I'm just like, it doesn't make me feel like that first Iron Man did, or the first Avengers did, or how Infinity War did, it's just like whatever. And then the second Thor, I fell asleep through that movie twice. I have not actually finished Thor Ragnarok ever, even though I've started it twice.
You mean Thor: The Dark World?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Ragnarok, which is the third one.
My bad. I meant the second one. No, I watched Ragnarok over and over. So like the third one, I was just like, great, another Thor movie. This is gonna be stupid. And then I mean, it just immediately catches your eye with that first scene of him in that little dungeon thing, and he's like spinning around or whatever, and then he has that conversation, and then fights him, and then it plays that epic. Oh man, and then And then the rest of that movie was amazing and it was funny. And they reinvented Thor, which I think they took too far when they made Fat Thor. But like, if they did that with Ben Affleck's movie and they gave him that third one after, Justice League sucks so much, and Batman v Superman sucks so much, and they just like were like, all right, we're gonna reinvent you and we're gonna make you what people want to see, because I don't think he actually is a terrible Batman. I think a lot of it is the writing, you know. So I think if they give him a shot and they put a decent writer and director in there, I think they could nail Batman
Yeah.
with
Well,
that.
Thor Ragnarok goes to show that if you get a director who can take an actor and use his strengths
Yeah.
and build towards that, like he was able to do with Hemsworth, then yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that director that could build towards Affleck's strengths is Ben Affleck himself, because he was at one point on peg to direct a solo Batman movie, but he didn't get that chance. So maybe he could have pulled something together, but I don't think we'll ever know. We'll see how Robert Pattinson does and what he's able to come up with.
I hope he does a good job. I'm excited to see this new movie.
It'll be interesting to see, because I did get some vibes that maybe it might be more similar to the Nolan version of Batman. So it'll be interesting to see how they differentiate themselves from that and make it a new experience.
Well, I feel like
it seems like they want to go realistic, but I don't feel like they can do it as realistic as Nolan without it seeming like a copy.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they're gonna take it somewhere, I feel like they're gonna take it like the Joker movie, Like the Joker movie did not feel like a Nolan movie. It just felt like a really freaking good movie. And I feel like if they copy that vibe instead of the Nolan vibe, I think they can really do a good job with this. Because I think if they're going to copy anything, they're going to. I think Warner Brothers is going to make them go the route of more like the Joker than Christopher Nolan. Because I don't think you can really copy Christopher Nolan's style, because I feel like he's so meta when he does his writing.
Yeah. All right, so we have gone through all 6 Batman. We have argued why they are the best and why they are the worst. Clearly, I have won because I had all of the best arguments.
No.
I mean, just the fact that I was able to come up with any reason at all why Clooney or Kilmer are the best Batman, I should deserve all the credit for that. So I clearly am the winner.
No.
I thank you for participating, though. I'll send your participation trophy in the mail.
I think this war right now needs to be solved in the comics. We need actual people to vote. So I want you to vote in the comics who you think did the better job, who won this contest, and in true fashion, you need to say why I was the best and why he was the worst. And that's just
or if you want us to actually see it, you'll put it in the comments and not the comics, because that would just be weird. Don't go home and write in your comics. Write in the comments and tell why I was the best.
I would read it. You just post that too, and I'll read it.
All right. Well, we thank you all for listening, and by all of you, I mean myself when I listen to this later.
Yep.
Peter,
you still haven't done the last one, and I have. I think all 3 views on the last one are me.
Oh, well, yes. Well, that last one was way too long. I didn't have time for that. Who's got time for that?
Yeah, not our listeners.
If somebody else went there and listened to it, kudos to you. Deserve a cookie. All right. So, yeah, I think that was fun. I think we came up with some good arguments. I had some things that got left on the table here that, if I would have been on the other side, I think I would have been able to argue as well. So, but you made good points for yours. I made good points for mine. So we'll see if people agree with us.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you in the next game. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be putting out more fun games like this. And if you guys want to join us in the comments. Become part of our little game that we have, and it'll be fun. All right. Later.
All right. Thank you.